That was next, wifey. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. Every nation, every sovereign nation has a right, know the responsibility to govern who is coming in and out of its borders. A nation can't have porous borders. It have the right and the responsibility to protect its citizens and to make sure who's coming in and out. But that responsibility also, as a nation that has opened its doors and economy up to immigrants, we have a responsibility to treat them decently. We have a responsibility to treat them according to our own immigration laws. Now, of course, recently we watched two governors, one, the governor of Texas, and the other is the governor of Florida. Now, the governor of Florida thought that immigration was such a big problem, there's no denying that it is, that he rented a plane. He got 50 immigrants, Venezuelan immigrants from Texas. I guess it's such a big problem, he had to import them from Texas and sent them to Martha's Vineyard. With the promise of a better life, with the promise of jobs and opportunity. And let me just say this, from history, it tells us that I don't care if it's a boat, a plane, or a bus, when a white dude offers you a ride and a better opportunity, it ain't going to work out good. So this is an old tactic. And what I found interesting is that the men and the governors who are always talking about woke and don't want history taught in school, and there's a reason why. Because they're often replicating the playbook. This whole thing that they're doing, where they're sending immigrants to northern enclaves, that happened in 1961. And the immigrants, the people at that time were black people. So in 1961, they had what was called reverse freedom rides. They knew that the northerners were coming up, and they were what they called instigating. They were trying to get blacks the rights of free citizens. They tried to get them the right to vote, the right to be treated like the Constitution said that they should. And in response to that, the Southern segregationists that were members, one of the main spearheaders of this venture was a man, his name was Amos Guthridge. He was a member of the Little Rock White Citizens Council, because they always shrouded their racism under Citizens Council, which was really little more than racist, and white supremacists. And what they were doing was they were trying to embarrass the Northerners. So they sent busloads and busloads and busloads of black people to northern enclaves, to the Detroits, to Chicago, to Los Angeles, trying to embarrass them. And also the notion was, they thought that people were propagating, that Democrats, much like they do now, are propagating a great replacement theory. Haven't you heard that before? A great replacement theory, where they're using blacks to replace them. And so they decided that they were going to have this reverse freedom ride, where they sent hordes of black people to all of these northern enclaves, hoping they would embarrass them. And what happened was, the northern enclaves went, you know what? We need a labor force. Here comes one. So they went to work in their factories and their foundries and their plants, and it depleted the southern workforce. Often now you'll see that the southern block of the United States of America is a solid block of poverty. That's not me. The southern region of the United States of America is a solid block of poverty. It leads the nation in poverty, in life expectancy. It's like all of the things that are bad about America, it leads in. And it does it because of this leadership. And oftentimes it does it because of things like this. What they're doing now to Latin men and women, they did to us. They don't want you to know about history because, like I said earlier, they're using the playbook. They don't want to. Yes, they wanted to embarrass the Northerners. Yes, they want to embarrass Democrats. Yes, they want to own the list. But what they did was they wanted you, when they dropped these immigrants off these places, they wanted them to be greeted like immigrants were greeted when they were greeting them at the Texas border, with guns and pitchforks and hatred. What they wanted to prove is that you hate them as much as we hate them. You get a load of this, and then you'll do to them what we do to them. They want you, because in America, they know, those two governors know, that there is a segment of America that no matter how bad you treat black or brown people will agree with it. I think, and I've said this before, not a lot of people, most people don't agree with the message, but they do agree with the idea. They do agree with the goals, and that's keeping white people in power. This is not about immigration. This is not, because I don't know how you throwing immigrants in other places, because America is pretty much an open, they can come here. What is you putting people in places like that? You wanted to foment hate. The same hate you have for them, you wanted them to have for them. You don't offer solutions for immigration. You just offer these people up who are the sources of your problem. And hate always works here. Always. I don't think, I said this before, most white people do not agree with the method, but they damn sure agree with the goal. And the goal is to keep people that look like them in charge. And nothing you do to black or brown people is such an abomination that they'll look right now. Some people are crying out and most people are silent because they agree. That's their tacit agreement. So people like DeSantis and Abbott know that hate works in America. The symbols of hate work in America. That black and brown people pretty much are to be treated this way because that is tantamount to their goal. And that goal is to keep them in power. America mistreating black and brown people, busting them off to embarrass people, hoping that it stokes the same hatred they have of people, is not new. America hating black and brown people and using them for political fodder is as retro as hot dogs. It's retro. It's what we do here. They know that half these people will agree with them. They know that half of these people will understand why they do it. And they hope, the goal isn't to shine a light on immigration. The goal is that they hope that you're as open with their feelings and their hatred of these people as they have. That you just say, okay, this is the way it has to be. The reason that people do not want you learning history is because they're repeating it right before our very eyes. That's a little note from the GED section. We have the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It is the D.L. Hughley Show.